Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Putri Nurhayati. I am from Advanced Speaking A2. So, right now I am going to present an article presentation about teaching English pronunciation using film. And this article was written by Diah Indri Fitri Handayani. She is from Indonesia University of Education English Department. Okay, let's go to the first discussion. The first is background. Background is the reason why the researcher want to explore or investigate or writing this study. Okay, so in this study, the researcher find that in some researchers said that pronunciation in EFL is something that difficult. Many researchers found that there are several ways can be as a media for teaching pronunciation, such as audiovisual. But unfortunately, there is no detailed research about what kind of the audiovisual aids to teach pronunciation. Remembering there are so many various of audiovisual aids such as you can see on the PowerPoint, film of Harry Potter and music from Harry Styles. Okay, but in this study, the researcher wants to investigate film as a media in teaching English pronunciation. Alright, next slide. Okay, we have research objectives. So research objectives is the aim of the study. So the major goal of the study is to find out how effective film can be as a media in teaching English pronunciation, especially in Indonesia. There are two specific research objectives. The first one is whether the use of film is effective to improve students' pronunciation ability, and the second one is the students' response toward film in improving their pronunciation. Okay, the next slide is theoretical framework. So I found that in this study there are two theoretical framework. There are pronunciation and film as a technique in teaching. As we know, pronunciation is one of the most important thing in learning English. With pronunciation knowledge, the students can improve pronunciation better. Pronunciation better, and can improve their listening skill because they know how to pronounce or how to speak in the word that properly, and film as a technique in teaching. I think film is interesting to use in learning English. Next slide, we have research method. So in this study, the researcher used a quantitative research method which explain a phenomena by numerical. Then the design in the study is quasi-experimental research, and the participants were from class 10, Science 2 and 10, Social 2 with total 60 students of senior high school in Bandung. Okay, next slide. Okay, the instruments of the study, there are pre and post test, interview test, a t-test formula, and the test of the null hypothesis. The first one is pre and post test. In the beginning of instruments, the researcher conducted pre-test in order to find out how many or how much the difference between before using film and after using film as a media in teaching English pronunciation. After the pre-test, the research conducted post-test, which is the question is similar to pre-test. After that, the researcher conducted interview test. Interview test conducted by the researcher in order to collect the data about how students respond toward film as a media in teaching English pronunciation. The third is a t-test formula. A t-test formula conducted in order to collecting the data to find out the difference between experimental class that using film as a media and control class. And the fourth is the null hypothesis. Okay, after gaining a t-test formula, the research conducted the null hypothesis to determine the level of significance. After that, we have results or finding. Okay, next. According to research objectives, which is has two specific research objectives. So the results or the finding is should also results in the study. So the first results is there is no significant increase in students learning pronunciation using film as a media. Thus, there are no significant difference improvement or there are no significant difference between students that using film as a media in teaching English pronunciation and the students that without using film as a media. And then the second one is students give a very good response to film as a medium for learning pronunciation. So the researcher found that the students give positive response towards film as a media and teaching English pronunciation because based on the interview test they get motivated and more interesting in learning English using film. The next slide is conclusions. So there is two conclusions here. The first one is from the data analysis, it is shown that teaching pronunciation using film doesn't give many significant difference compared to usual English teaching. So the students that using film in learning English pronunciation doesn't have different significant improvement of their skill between students that without using film in teaching English pronunciation. The second one is some students show that students were basically more motivated when it comes to film. In this conclusion statement, we can conclude most of the students is get motivated and more enjoy in learning English pronunciation using film as a media because with film they can improve their listening skill also. Just suggestions. The teacher should be before conducted the class using film as a media. The teacher should know what the level they are. whether they are in the beginner, intermediate, or advanced level. So we can choose what kind of film that fit with the level they are. For instance, Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter is fits with the learners that in the advanced level. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.